if we talk about, not necessarily bad advice, let's say unusual behaviors like, cutting budgets.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I know one of your recent
value
quotes,
engineering.
Yeah, one of your recent quotes says, the more you keep cutting budget, the more layer of design comes off.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Actually, I mean, it's disappointing. But then again, it's a client's prerogative. Yes. I would rather sometimes clients focus on certain areas and spend the money where they feel is necessary rather than doing too much and not have enough budget to cover everything. I also like when we do refurbishments, let's not throw everything away. I think when we worked on the Alcázar Hotel refurbishment, I think the asset managers were really kind of super happy with us because we maintained 90% of the furniture that was already there, but reinvented it. So yeah, budgets always are an issue. There's never enough. I always question clients. So where did you get that budget from? How do you know that should be the budget? Because sometimes we get these figures and we think, where do they get that from? It's not realistic. And then we have to make it realistic. So that becomes a challenge in itself. But value engineering, I hate that word. I mean, actually, it's a kind of almost a swear word in our industry for me, value engineering. I think if we are sort of given budgets from the beginning, and if we can work to those budgets and we all know that that's what the client, has to spend, we should work from that from the beginning. And then there's no need to value engineer, and makes the whole process much easier. Nothing worse than we spend all this time designing something, the client's super happy with it, and then at the end of the day, it gets watered down. And like you said, it starts to strip the layers. And then the final product isn't exactly as you imagined it. But if we had designed it to that budget from the onset, worked with suppliers directly, to achieve those budgets, and imagine we achieved those budgets, but then what if the client then said, wow, you achieved that, maybe I'll cut it again. Now that's not fair as well. So yeah, it's a tricky line in that. But I think at the end of the day, some clients do share their budgets and some don't. And some just make it it's a mandate to actually do a value engineering exercise. But actually, if we had designed it from the beginning, maybe we don't need to do it. So yeah, it is a kind of it's a horrible topic. But
it's finding
it's part of the business. I mean,
it's try to make it a success, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to make it a success. Actually, we just finished something yesterday, and I spoke to the client just before I came here today, and he said, we love that new design, but I'm really worried about the budget. I said, why? He goes, well, it looks, I don't know if we can afford that. I said, well, why don't we strive to afford that? Afford that main feature, and everything else we can sort of simplify or do something that isn't outrageous. And we can really afford that to make your project so much better. And, we have that wow factor. Everyone's looking for that wow factor, that insta moment, in a place. And if we start to water that down, I think we lose that essence of the project itself.